What's up, everybody? We're back with another sesh, and I'm here as always with my main man, Vishal, over in India. Vishal, what's going on, bro? How's everything going over in India right now, man? Obviously, crazy times upon us here.
Yeah, it's been crazy. The last 1 month or so has been such a crazy time for me and for the country as well. There's just been a lot of things that have happened, and it's almost taking me a minute to process what all we've seen right now. It's been crazy.
Well, fill us in a little bit. What's it like on the ground? So, like, from where my perspective, obviously, like, watching American media and like, I'm in the States. Obviously, we saw that India and Pakistan were having problems, and you guys have always been, I guess, from my understanding of global politics, sort of adversaries. But it's interesting because you're right on the border with one another, right? So, like, you share a border, but you guys have been sort of at each other's throats for a long time. Is that right?
It is right, or at least that's what we've been told all our lives. And
Yeah, right.
I've lived in this country almost 26 years now, and that's what I've heard almost every time when I've heard about Pakistan as a country. And my first real like hardcore exposure to that was when I traveled to the U.S. and my host parents. They were just so curious about knowing what the reality is. Honestly, too young to understand anything, but right now, it has blown me away that there's so many different things that everybody's saying, right? I mean,
Yeah.
President Trump has a different view on this. He comes out with a statement. Our prime minister says something. Our defense forces are saying something. And our media is saying something. Pakistan is saying something else. Their military are saying something else. And their media are saying something else. And so I'm going to be honest. It's fair to say that I haven't heard one single thing that everybody has commonly said. Like literally everything is just so different, and that confuses me. And just like it does everybody else, and that also puts me in a very worrisome spot because as a person who lives in this country, I don't even know what the reality is. You know what I mean? We saw such a big thing as people who live on this entire world, right? And for me, who saw it so closely, who was a part of it almost, I don't even know what the reality is. And that concerns me so much, right?
Yeah. Well, so what is it like when I talked to you last week? You had mentioned like they cut the power, there were sirens going off. Like we obviously saw here that like Pakistan had attacked India, India had retaliated at Pakistan, and then the leaders of these countries both were like threatening each other with further escalation. And like, obviously, man, the world is crazy. And like, from my whole adult life has been about basically we've been at war with one country or another. And it's just like, I know, like, as an American myself, like, I'm very tired of war, and obviously, we want peace and prosperity in the world. And then to see, like, your two countries, India and Pakistan, start to like drum up the war drum and like, make threatening actions toward each other, it's obviously very concerning. And of course, like, you know, especially for me now, like, I've got friends on the ground, like, obviously, I've got to know you very well and traveled to northern India, basically right on the border of Pakistan up in northern India, and a bunch of friends up there, Uday and Mustu and the boys from all the hockey teams up there, and the Indian Army who I've skated with. And then to see these things like hit so close to home, it was definitely a very scary time last week hearing about it. From my perspective, like, I don't know how it is today with you guys there, but like it sounds like cooler heads are, or at least starting to prevail a little bit, which is really good news, obviously, for the world.
It definitely is. But between when we last spoke and today, just what happened was mind boggling. Because when was the last time you saw like missiles go up in the air and like these red like flashing lights? And um when the last time that you heard like gunshots, and not just gunshots, like really explosion, like explosive sounds, right? In the sky, and like the sky like lighting up with like fire and stuff. When was the last time you heard or saw any of that stuff? I have
Yeah,
never, and I
dude,
had never, and
that's
I've
really
never even
scary.
imagined that. It is scary, and I'd never even imagined that. And the way it escalated was just so bad because after the whole like act of terror happened in up in Kashmir area and Pahalgam area,
Yeah.
where they like shot some of the Hindu people or whatever. Not just whatever. Anyway, but I don't want to get caught up in the middle of
No,
all of this politics. Just want to be careful.
yeah, it's terrible when anybody
Yeah,
does, obviously.
yeah, really. And like, um, so after that, our government basically announced that there will be countrywide preventive measures on a certain day. So, like for example, like a week from now, there will be like preventive measures taken. Like there will be trainings across like educational institutions. There will be at workplaces sirens going off just to understand how, like, just to teach people how they should react when there's a war-like situation, right? If at all. And
Wow.
that was the mock drill announcement, right? And one night before the mock drill, when the entire world is thinking that there's going to be a mock drill tomorrow, our forces go and like in the middle of the night just randomly attack like 9 terrorist spots, supposed terrorist spots in Pakistan, because apparently it's said that Pakistan sponsors and trains the terrorist organizations in their across their country, and so we are being told that Operation Sindoor, that's what they called it, and it has a very deep meaning, but yeah, so they just went out one night before the precautionary mock drills were to happen and destroyed all of these 9 training camps or terrorist spots or whatever. And that's where it whole started. The whole thing started, and that's where it got super escalated. And the next night, we just saw like red, like flashes of missiles going down, like up and down in the air, and our defense system like neutralizing the bombs and missiles and whatnot. And it was pretty scary because we saw legit videos from people living, like, it's social media, right? Age of social media. People living in those areas saw these red flashes up in the air and filmed it and like posted it all over social media. So it wasn't just something we heard on the news or in the media, right? Which could be manipulative, but this is videos that we're talking from like real human beings, real people living in those areas. And so we knew it was very real. And then there's like all of these armed forces from both ends going at it with each other. We're hearing that, we killed these many people there, we destroyed these many spots there, and they are celebrating or they're mourning, like their government is mourning losses of terrorists. These people are implying that they're sponsoring terrorists and they're associated with the terrorists somehow and all of that stuff. And so it's like really crazy stuff. Because you're being fed, like as a citizen, you're just being fed information from the media, from the government, from the armed forces, and then you're hearing stuff from their side of the world, which contradicts what, like everything you're hearing from here. And so it was a mental war more than or yeah, mental war more than like physical war. Of course, it was a physical war also with like missiles and stuff, but like it was also mental war of the citizens. You know what I mean? Like we are believing
Yeah.
in our government one day, and the next day, like we're hearing things about the government. We even heard that like our prime minister movie, he basically orchestrated the whole thing just to get Muslims kicked out of the country. Like that's also what we heard.
Well,
So
man,
I mean, I don't know what to do.
that's what's so frightening to me. Now, obviously, war in general is frightening, right? But nowadays, too, like, you know, war is also being used as like a proxy for government overreach and government takeover. And like you mentioned, dude, like now because of the war, like now the government can come in and tell the citizens like you're not allowed to leave your house past a certain time because it's for your safety. And like we learned all these things like during the last like obviously 5-6 years with COVID and everything that happened where it was like, oh, we've got this gigantic problem and now it gives like the government a reason to come in and like suspend civil liberties and like all of a sudden like it has to like rearrange society. And then like just like even the terminology is so weird too, right? Like because everybody's got their opinion and like everybody's got a reason for what they're doing, but it's like the bad guys are the other side is the terrorists, right? And like they're the ones that are not justified for their behavior. And like your side are the freedom fighters. We're the ones that like we're on the side of good. But just the whole thing is so scary, and that's like from my perspective, like why I'm like praying for peace in every area, right? Like whether it's like in Russia, Ukraine, or the Middle East with like Israel and Palestine. All of these gigantic wars, not only are they horrible for the world and people die and like misery and things like that, but I get very worried about loss of freedom, as somebody who my whole life is about freedom. I grew up in the US and like I built a business and like I want to be able to travel freely and speak my mind and go around the world. When things happen like this conflict, it gives these like authoritarian governments reasons to come in and clamp down on the societies. And we saw a lot of that. Like for me, I tasted it during COVID-19 and it was horrible. And you saw what happened around the world and you dealt with it obviously maybe to a more extreme aspect being in India. So like you even said, like because of the situation ramping up with Pakistan, now it's like now you have all of these regulations and rules and things now because it's for your safety, and we're going to be, suspending personal liberty and just deciding that this is how you're going to have to live for a while because of because of the danger that's out there. And like then you start to worry, like false flags, and like with social media now anybody can create this problem that can like turn into basically a power grab for nefarious characters. And those are the kind of things that I think about when it comes to conflict and global situations. So I hope things like come cool down on that front, and that you don't have to deal with any sort of obviously war in your backyard. Obviously that, you're like everybody, right? Like you want to have your business and have prosperity and provide for your family and, live a good life. And, so we're praying for you, man. I'm praying for you here and praying for India and obviously even for Pakistan too, just to have peace in the region and send my best. And hopefully it doesn't, spill into a long drawn out conflict, because like we talked about like a couple episodes ago, I want to get back up there and skate with you. And like we got new rinks opening up in Delhi, and like the world is exciting and a beautiful place. And like to have conflict and war is obviously, is brutal. So we're praying for you here,
Yeah,
and just let you know that people are thinking about you over in the States.
thanks. Thank you, man. That really it really does help, and every little bit helps. Honestly, I'm gonna be truthful here. I'm really not at as much risk as like the Indian armed forces or even the armed forces of Pakistan. You know what I mean? We're all just like mere like tiny citizens of this country, right? The fact that between all of this like geopolitical war, whatever you want to call it, all of the civilians and all of the armed forces, they have to go to war and they have to like have the risk of losing their lives and all of that stuff. It's just it's just out of my understanding to me. Like I can't comprehend the fact that even today innocent people have lost their lives just because somebody sat in their chair in a big office and said, "Hey, let's go to war." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. And like we just keep seeing this, it's just over and over, right? Like there's just all these conflicts, and it's just I don't know, man. You wonder about, the purpose of it all, right? Like, why do we not like them? Like, why are we at war with these people? Like, we're dealing with it here too, man. Like, the U.S. isn't bogged down, and we've been bogged down in the Middle East since I was an adult. You know what I mean? Like, we
Yeah.
went to war in Iraq, and then all of a sudden we're in Afghanistan for 20 years, and now we're out of that, and then we got a Russia-Ukraine war that we're funding in Ukraine allegedly, like, and then we got the Israel-Palestine, and we're supposed to like pick sides on all these conflicts, and then obviously, like again, like where I come from in the U.S., like we're supposed to be friendly with obviously with India, and then also we're supposed to be friendly with Pakistan. But then there's like, you know, it's just so crazy that like we live in this world, and there's so much war, and it could be obviously so great. The world is amazing. It's frustrating for citizens, like you said. But I'm hoping that obviously you being far away from the conflict, I really appreciate talking to you about it and hearing what it's like on the ground there. And have you noticed like a change in your life as a citizen of India? Like, have you had to make changes? Like you mentioned last week, we didn't have power. We didn't have they had sirens going off. Have you been like restricted, or have you lost any freedoms as a result of the conflict so far?
Not really, honestly. I know it's not much of a change physically than mentally. Mentally, it's just like scary now because you don't know what could happen any time. You know what I mean? And for me, even like for me personally, I'm in a small town. It doesn't really matter much. The chances of something happening here are far, far, far lower than the bigger cities anyway. And but people in bigger cities, they're filled with fear, bro. I'm not joking. They don't want to go out. They're not really being restricted by the government themselves, but they're just scared of going out. They're just scared of going to like public places. They're just scared of going to the even the finest places. Like I've mentioned the last time also when we talked. Something there was a terror attack at the Taj Mahal Palace, the hotel, one of the finest hotels across India. That's where the attack took place, and so now like imagine people thinking like they don't even know if the fine places are safe now, right? So people are
Right.
preferring to stay indoors and stay like just going to work and back if necessary at all. But other than that, not really so much restriction from the government side.
Yeah, that's good to
Yes.
hear. I think it's also too a point. The point of like some of these egregious attacks are to create that fear and then that self censorship, and like I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to live my life because I'm afraid. Obviously, dude, like I felt that as a young person, like with 9/11, right? Like when all of a sudden New York City is like up in flames and buildings are falling down. And then, it definitely changed my life. It changed everybody's life here when that happened. And now it's crazy because now all this info is coming out where you're looking at it and you're like, did what actually happened wasn't really what we were told at the time or what I believed for almost my whole adult life. We start to look at now all these new facts coming out, right? Like things you're like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Like, what about building 7 that just fell over on its own? Like, wait, what? Yeah, that like doesn't make any sense, right? So it's just, I guess, part of being alive in the world in 2025, especially now, like with social media, like you said, like you don't really know what to believe. You can do that's the thing. It's like anybody can do some crazy act. Like if somebody just randomly decided to blow something up, then they could be like, oh, that was somebody else did it, and you could start a war just by doing nefarious behavior like that. I don't know, man. It's complicated, obviously, but it feels very real to hear from you, who's like very close to that situation.
Yeah, and again, it's just my perspective, and it's just how I saw it, and it's just how I felt over the last couple weeks. But it really has been scary, like, bro. But like, again, like I saw this one thing where like this somebody from the Pakistan military, like, bro, they got trolled all over the world. They started talking about like some Indian airplane that they had destroyed or whatever that was found over the Pakistani skies or whatever, and they posted a clip from a video game showing that they were gunning down
Right?
some
It's what?
airplane.
That's crazy.
Bro, you won't believe when the army personnel posted that or said about it in some interview, and they'd shown that clip. All of the Pakistani influencers and like celebrities, they started talking about it, and they started posting it, and they started celebrating it too, and they were just naturally being trolled all across the world about how, like, I mean, you're a government of a nation, like you're posting
Yeah, that's
video game
crazy.
clips.
Well, you know what's interesting now, dude, is maybe not today exactly, but very in the very near future. Like, what is AI gonna, what role is AI gonna play in future conflicts where like, somebody could be at their computer and create a very realistic video of like a terror attack, for example, or like, something that isn't even real, but it looks real, and it could be the kindling that starts a greater conflict. I think like we're getting closer and closer to where like pretty soon you're not even gonna be able to know what's real online. I've seen videos that like you can't even tell that it's made by AI, and it's a completely made up video, but it looks real. And that's today. Like, what's it going to be like in 3 or 4 years? That's kind of going to be it's going to be interesting to see, man. I think we're in for a huge change in the world. Obviously, it's changing rapidly. Obviously the internet changed everything, and now this is almost going to be like AI revolution is going to be bigger than the internet was, which, you know what I mean? Drastically changed humanity. And now we're getting to the point where AI is like maybe going to take over the world. I don't know, man. I mean, what do you think?
It's scary because have you heard of the banana and apple theory?
No, no. What is it?
So they put a banana and an apple in front of people one by one, and they tell enough people that they're both bananas, where in fact there's one banana and one apple, right? And then eventually people just start believing that they're both bananas. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah,
the whole
I think,
point of this is
yeah, I mean, that totally
the
makes
whole
sense.
point of this, and social media is such, right? Like I saw it firsthand. If you start convincing, if you've convinced enough people to believe something to be true, then you have the entire world thinking that it's true, and that is scary. Because like what you mentioned right now with an AI video, if you have enough people convinced that something like that happened, like, bro, that's scary.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like I'm still very affected by what happened during COVID-19. It drastically changed my life. It really like uprooted everything and changed my direction of where I was going. And I think a lot of it comes back to exactly that. Like during COVID-19, like the whole world was very quickly convinced that we had this pathogen on the loose. And here's the solution for it. The solution was we're going to have lockdowns and we're going to like restructure society. And like everybody just jumped on board in like 2 weeks, and everybody was like, yep. And then the vaccine came out, and the whole world was like, "Yeah, you all have to have vaccines." And most of the people were like, "Yep." And like it was just like so quickly, everybody just was like did what they were told. And I'm like, that was just almost like to me like the beginning of what the future is going to be like. So, I mean, from where I'm sitting, man, it's really important to stay vigilant and to be very aware, or as much as you can be, of the forces at play here. and try to, again, like for me, man, just try to stay as free as you can, no matter what. Like that's my motto here, and that's my goal.
Yeah. No, you're right,
And
man.
we'll see. I don't know if the AI tools are so powerful. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to overcome it, but I think that's definitely something that we need to think about.
Yeah, that is definitely. But hey, we've talked about it enough, I believe, and we'll come back to how beautiful the world is.
Well, wait, let me ask you a question. I want I wanted to ask you a question real quick. So, what did you think about the video? I made a video with Josh here, and I wanted to ask you about it. Like, the things were changing on the ground so fast, but I was like trying to make a video to show like that we were thinking about you guys and both communities really. There's also hockey in Pakistan. I wanted to skate with the team in Pakistan. I saw some of their videos recently, but we showcased the video of the boys up north, and wanted to just give a little tribute and a little shout out to those guys who are really close to the action. So, what do you think of that?
I thought it was so beautiful. Like when I saw it, it was just really beautiful, and the fact that an American company like Buttendz, such a big company, they're posting about such an issue that's happening in the other side of the world was really like touching. I'm gonna be honest though, the reason I could I don't think I reacted very much to it at the time because the things were still happening, right? And there was like a ceasefire announcement, but that very night, like in just a couple hours of that ceasefire announcement, when I texted you also, I was like, "Hey, bro, they just announced a ceasefire and everything's good." And then 2 hours late, not even 2 hours in, we saw the same videos, the same like visuals of like red flashes in the sky and like explosive noises in the sky and sirens going off and electricity just going away and so I was just so shook when I saw the video. I was like, hey, this is so sweet, but holy shit, like this is what's happening in the real world here, right? And so like that, I feel like a lot of people shared that perspective with me when I at least saw that video. I was very touched by the video for sure, but the timing was just like so off because like ceasefire, the video, and then the explosions again, and that was just so
Man, so
horribly.
yeah, I was concerned about that, even to be honest with you. Josh and I were making the video, and once the conflict just started, and then like we were gonna post the video, and then like all of a sudden you texted me like it was a ceasefire. So I was like, oh. So then we had to go back and like redo the video because it was like things were changing so fast. And then I felt that like I didn't want to like obviously offend anybody or like make like I didn't want it to be like we were picking sides either, right? Like I want peace in the world. That's the kind of the vibe I was trying to put out with that piece.
Oh no, that definitely. Yeah, no, the video definitely came out like that. It did come out as somebody sitting far away, seeing it as like a third person, and somebody just wishing peace upon both the countries. That's how I took it, and I'm sure that's how the other people took it as well. And I haven't seen the comments or anything to that post. Is there any? I wonder if there's any negativity in the comments or anything, because I'm sure like people find negativity in everything, bro. I wouldn't even be bothered
No,
about
man.
that.
Some
Honestly.
people jumped in and were like, "Oh, they broke the ceasefire," and I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'll have to make another video soon, I guess. I don't know. So,
Well, I mean,
anyways,
there's two theories about that too. There's like one theory that says India violated the ceasefire, and then there's another theory that says Pakistan violated the ceasefire. There's another theory that says China paid Pakistan to violate the ceasefire and all that. There's just all stupidity out there, and I feel like I just don't even know what to believe as of right now. I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm just grateful to be safe, and I'm just grateful to be sitting here doing this podcast with you because this is a privilege. You never know. I could have been blown up into pieces by some bomb that dropped over me, but I'm good, man. We're good. Family's safe.
hey man, at this point, like regardless, obviously we don't know where the world will be in a week, let alone in 6 months, but I still want to be back in India next year around New Year's, like we talked about, and like let's keep our plans moving forward, and hopefully the world will settle down by then. And if not, if it's still possible, like I still want to come. So I'm still excited to be back in India with you at some point soon.
100%, man. I'll give you another reason to come back to India, though. Remember, I've been telling you there's a rink in Dehradun that which they're trying to start up, and I told you last time they flood the ice for the first time and they got onto the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that place? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a tournament happening in the second week of June there. So in just a few weeks.
Wow. So they got ice and they're bringing how many teams are coming in?
We're not sure yet, but at least 8. 8 for men's. And there's
Wow.
women, and
Are
then
they going
there's
to be
under
international teams? Are they international, or is it only teams from India?
teams from India as of right now. This is the national
Okay.
tournament, so teams will be divided based on their state or based on the union territory. So, like for example, UT Ladakh, Union Territory of Ladakh.
Yeah.
That's where Ule, Mustu, Achuk, and all of those guys play. And then there's Shimla, where Pranav and Abhimanyu and all of those people play, and I play for Team Maharashtra or Team Delhi. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Wow, dude, that's exciting, bro. I can't wait to hear more
But
about it.
hey, man,
It's going to be great.
ice all around the year now. I mean, that's what we're looking at here.
And so, are you planning on suiting up for it?
Yes, I want to.
Oh, nice.
We're still in talks, and I'm on the fence about it. I've almost confirmed my registration. I have 2 more days to do it, but we'll see how that goes. I really want to play because I've missed playing hockey all of these months, bro. It's been months. I think the last time I played was when I was in Canada. That was last year. So it's been over a year since I played hockey. Since I played a hockey game, and so I'm really excited. I want to play.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I still have visions of you manning the blue line up in Lay, playing for the Scarlet Snowstorms. You were a staple on defense, Buttendz player.
Absolutely. I can't wait, man. And the super cool part about this is that it's the first time in India that we'll play with like a full like boards and glass and like stands up in the air and like all that stuff. It's pretty nice. I mean, I'm pretty pumped
Oh,
about this.
beautiful. Well, that's exciting, man. Well, hey, listen, if the rink is year round, you said it's in Delhi too.
It's like 3 hours from Delhi.
Oh, well, then next year when I come up, I'd like to do a tour and go from like, well, we got to see that rink too, and then we'll go up north together. What do you think?
Definitely, definitely.
Are
You're
you gonna
flying to
have time?
Delhi.
Will you have time to do that? Will you have time to travel next year? Or are you going to be? Because I know you're very busy with your family business.
No, so it would take time out to go travel with you. I wouldn't be playing very competitively. I just do like a fun tour with you. You'd land in Delhi. I'd go there I would skate at the mini ice patch. It's called the ice skate, and then we drive to this rink in Dehradun. I have like a full plan ready already. We go to this rink, skate up here for 3 hours, and then fly up to Leh and play a couple tournament there, and then we're good. And then we might go down south and surf some waves at the same time. It'll be fun.
Dude, that would be sick. Are there waves in January in India? Probably, right? Somewhere.
Possibly. Very, very, very possibly.
That sounds like a good time, man. Like we're definitely going to pencil that in for January, man. I can't wait. I'm excited already. So let's hope for peace in the area so we can make that happen.
For sure, man. Anyway, how's it going at your end? What's going on over there? I know you've been in the States and back now, so tell me about what's
Yeah,
going on
dude,
there.
we've been grinding. We've been grinding hard. We're back in Puerto Rico now. I just got back yesterday. In my studio here, as you can see. It was a great trip up north. We had the CCM Chi-Town Shuffle in Chicago, which I think we talked about. And then I went out to Boston and I had a speaking engagement at my old college at Merrimack College. And I spoke with 2 business classes with the business school and talked to them about entrepreneurship and marketing and starting a new company and starting a product, building a product and starting a company with it. And it was an amazing exercise. I really enjoyed it, like speaking to the students and getting the conversation going with the younger crowd and people that are interested in business. And so actually because of that, like the professor and I spoke after the lectures about doing something more comprehensive next semester to really include the students into some real world projects that will help not only help us but help them as well from a marketing perspective. So some exciting things came out of that. And then while we were in the Boston area bopping around, I was actually it was great. I met the head of the CCM marketing for North America. This great dude, Brian Trainer. He's a great guy, and I met him at the CCM Chi-Town Shuffle. And he's from Boston, and the CCM has a headquarters in Boston. So he invited me to go in and hang out with the team there. I met up with him at Babson College the day I was leaving Boston, actually. And he was doing like a men's league pickup skate midday at Babson. And I'd never been there. And like I got to meet him there and do a demo for him and also got to meet all the players. And it was a really fun experience, man, because it was like middle of the day, a weekday in Boston. And I was able to go in there and, it was just a basic pickup skate, right? Maybe it had like 20 guys max, like skating. And a couple of the guys, they're like men's league players, guys like taking off for their lunch break, going to play hockey. And I go in there and we got guys using Buttendz already. So I was like able to interact with customers, be like, oh, hey, I'm the owner of Buttendz. Like, nice to meet you. And like, see the players that are using the product and like give away a bunch of stuff. And for me, that's always really exciting. And of course, all the players were super excited for the opportunity to get something for free. Some of the players already used the product, so they were like, "Yeah, this is a great product. I love it." And then the other guys were like, "Oh, I want to try it." So I was able to basically, be on the bench during the pickup game and do demo. It was like a one of a kind demo for me. Like I hadn't done anything like that. So for me, it was like a new experience to be representing my company in the field on the bench, like talking to the guys like mid game. Like the one guy comes off the ice, hands me his stick. I take the tape off. I put the Buttendz grip on. Before he goes out for his next shift, I hand him his stick. He goes out there, plays with the stick, comes back to the bench, and he's like, "Oh, I love this product." And like for
Wow.
me, that's just so rewarding and such a fun experience to have that like interaction with hockey players. So it was ace, man. So I was like filming all that, and we got tons of videos, and some of the videos we already edited and posted from that event have like really popped off. And I think a lot of it is because it's just such like people like the real real interactions from like actual hockey environments. Like we were in the locker room, I'm on the bench with the team, and just getting like real world testimonials from people actually using our product is really good. So, anyways, we did that. We were in New York. I went down to Florida. I was hanging out with my friends down in Florida for a bit, actually working on a new product as well for Buttendz. I don't have it at the second. I can't show the camera, but we have a new grip that we're working on internally, which is kind of a really nice product. I really like this direction that we're going in. It's similar to like the lizard skin grip. So it's like, just like a different feel that we're working on, right? So we want to offer a lot of different feels. Like we don't want to just isolate to one specific style of feel for players. Like we want to provide the best feel for a multitude of options and give players a multitude of options to choose from so that they're not just like, you have to use this one thing. Like, no, some
Yeah.
players like this, some players like that. So we want to create this and that and like provide the best quality to the hockey player that we can. So we're building this product, and I got to go down there and actually my buddy's daughter, who's like a brand new player, young player, she's only 7 and she just started playing. And she's been using our grips since she started, which is great. And I got to give her the sample of our newest grip. And I was telling her name's Charlie, and I'm like, "Hey, Charlie, you're the only one in the whole world, the only hockey player in the entire world that has this product." And she was like over the moon stoked about it. And so it was just really fun. So we got that going. And then after that, I came back down to Puerto Rico, and I got a week here to basically, do podcasts, catch up on a bunch of work, get into some yoga classes, get some sunshine, get healthy. And then we're heading right back out on the road next week. So we got some big stuff coming up, man. Summertime is going to be huge for us for here for Buttendz, for obviously new products coming out, and then all gearing up to, we got the South American tournament this summer, and then boom, before you know it, it's going to be August, and it's going to be demo days. We're going to be on the road doing pro demos, junior demos, college demos, and right back into the grind here. So busy times, which is fun, and exciting times. Looking forward to it.
Wow. I'm super excited to hear about the new product that you have coming out. Do you have a name for it yet?
I've been teasing the name, so I'm not sure. Do you know the movie Back to the Future? I think we talked about this. It's
We've
the
talked about it.
If you haven't seen it, bro, you have to see it. It's the best trilogy of all time. Okay? And it's a trilogy. So Back to the Future 1, 2, 3. My business partner Kevin and I were huge Back to the Future nerds when we were kids. Like when we used to hang out when we were like 13 years old, we used to like hang out and watch Back to the Future like on repeat at like sleepovers and stuff, right? And so when we
Yeah.
started our company, we decided we were going to name all of our products like after parts of the movie. So all of the different grips have like a sort of a connotation to Back to the Future. And so for the
Yeah.
new product, like I teased it a little bit on a live stream. When Marty McFly, the main character in Back to the Future, goes back in time, he goes back in a DeLorean. And the DeLorean needs to go back in time. There's the flux capacitor, and it requires 1.21 gigawatts of electricity to jolt the DeLorean back in time. So if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyways, the word gigawatt. So I was like teasing calling the product the gigawatt and having that be our new product. So we have the flux, we have the fusion, we have the paradox, we have all these different grips. The Squirrel 88, which is 88 miles per hour. Like all the different names have a Back to the Future connotation. So, anyways, the gigawatt seems like it might be a good fit, but we haven't officially named it yet. So it's still kind of in a decision process here.
Wow. I can't wait to try it all already now. I'm super stoked. Wait, what's the paradox? I've never heard of it.
The paradox is our lacrosse grip, and so it's specifically designed for lacrosse players. And so we called it the paradox. And the paradox from Back to the Future is when Doc Brown is speaking with Marty, and he's always talking about like interrupting the like space-time continuum, basically. So like if you go back in time and like you like meet somebody that you weren't supposed to meet, and it will change the direction of the entire future. And Doc Brown would always be, "We're going to have a major paradox," and so that was like a line in the movie. And so we decided to call our lacrosse group the Paradox. So yeah.
Oh, wow. This is super interesting. I knew the Back to the Future references, but this is the first time hearing the stories actually. So it's so cool. It's great, man. It's awesome. I'm excited. When do you have an idea when you're launching this new product?
It's close. So we're close to get into production. So I think I'm penciling it in for probably the fall. So like this hockey season coming up. I'm really excited to take the product. I like going into the locker rooms, especially for demos with like all of our products. It's fun to have an assortment. In the beginning of the product, we only had one style. So I'd walk in there and be like, here's one option. And, we got people that loved it. Like we got NHL, my boy Krusty was like, I'll use it in the game tomorrow, first day in like 2013. But it's really nice to walk in there and be like, okay, we can fit all these different feels. And so now this is a new feel. And it's really exciting too because like our competitor, Lizard Skin, is very popular in the NHL, especially. So I'm excited to go into these locker rooms and like convert guys that might like that product and convert them to Buttendz. So it should be hopefully ready for the fall, and we'll take it out and we'll let the market decide if they like it, and they'll be the ones to determine it.
Wow, that's super cool to hear. I can't wait to follow along this journey, and especially with the sessions that we're doing. I get firsthand perspective of how you're building this, how it's going to come out, and how you're super excited to launch it and all of that stuff. It's really great to. It's a great learning for me, especially because we're also working on a product here, and there's just so much inspiration to take from here. So that's awesome.
Well, for me, it's the same way because, you're somebody who has been a fan of the product and like followed the company for so long. And like for us to now become friends and now collaborators, so digital collaborators working on a podcast. You're in India, I'm here. It's really quite an experience. And again, I'm very grateful as well to have you around for the journey and to have you in my life as well as a friend and a brother, man. So thanks for being a part of it as well, dude. You provide a lot of inspiration for me as well.
It's such an honor. And it's both ways. You're right. It's both ways. What a session tonight, Rob. What a great chat we've had.
Yeah, great session, bro. It was great to talk to you. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Great session, as always. My man, Vishal, over in India. We got Rob from Puerto Rico. We're out of here.